before I met Julian, I really didn't have much of a friend group here in Lisbon. I've been here for almost 2 years. I wasn't going out. And then something else is that I was smoking a lot of weed. After I met Julian, I actually dropped the weed. I focused a lot more on my social life and we became good friends after that. Working with you, I realized it's a lot easier just to talk to people. I was flying through DC, saw this cute girl at a bar, so just sat down next to her. Hey, cheers. Like it was nothing. And to go from there to what it was before, where I was just so nervous talking, was a major difference. I mean, some people are like so masculine and confident, like that's their perception of me. They don't know, like inside my head, I don't necessarily feel that, but like they do have this perception.
So, hello, Jordan. Welcome. Great to talk to you again. Yeah, I'm here with Jordan. I'm Julian. Everybody knows me, of course, right? But yeah, I want to welcome Jordan. We met last year around summertime in Portugal. And yeah, we started to work together a little bit on his social life, social skills. He's a digital nomad. He's Microsoft Excel expert. So he knows everything you need, you can imagine about Microsoft Excel. Everything that I don't know about Microsoft Excel, he knows. And yeah, welcome. I'm happy to talk to you again. Would be cool to get a quick introduction from your side and how we met, maybe.
Sure. So, like Julian said, I'm Jordan Goldmeyer. I'm a digital nomad and I live in Lisbon, Portugal. I travel a lot, and that means that I'm not always able to create a social life wherever I go. So, Julian and I met through another networking program, and Julian told me like what he does, that he wanted to go out and just go and practice and talking to people. And I never really done that. Or if I had done it, I hadn't done it to the degree that Julian pushed me to do it. So we met up and Julian took me under his wing for a few days, and showed me how to go up and chat with people, how to like things to say, challenged me to think differently about myself and some of the limiting beliefs. And it wasn't perfect when we first started, but since then I've been working on it and it's helped me out a lot. I actually, like before I met Julian, I really didn't have much of a friend group here in Lisbon. I've been here for almost 2 years, almost a year. Well, I guess really a year and a half at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going out. And then something else is that I was smoking a lot of weed. So after I met Julian, I actually dropped the weed. I focused a lot more on my social life and we became good friends after that.
Yeah. And just to go a little bit just before we met and when we started at the day, when I started to coach in some social concepts, how to approach, how were your approaches like before that? Did you have a lot of struggle talking to people, a lot of fear, or how was that going for you?
Well, to be fair, like I still have some struggle and some fear. I don't really care. So if I want to talk to someone, I just go up and talk to them and they can like it or they cannot like it. But before you, I was really in my head. Like I thought, okay, you got to say this, you got to say that. Or even if I could admit it doesn't matter what you'd say, I would be like, but I need something, need a system, because I'm such a data person that I can't do this without some system. And then I would say as well that like I may talk to 1 to 2 people a night or I met. But now if I go out, I really try to I don't even count it. Just try to talk to as many people as I can.
Yeah.
Say, hey, what's the party? What's going on over here? You know, like just trying to be social. And yeah, I mean, like it was very sporadic too. I would only pick my safe places like the cafe where I knew people there. It was like, I mean, I'll just give you an example. Okay, so I have a friend here and I met her at a cafe. This was before you, but like it took me 4 days, like of sitting across from her before I said something. Like, hey, cool laptop case. And then we became friends after that. I was so anxious to talk day after day. Now it's like, after I hanging out with you, like there was someone who I was seeing in the coffee shop all the time and I sat down next to her. I was like, hey, I see you all the time. What's your name? And then she was like, hey, I'm so-and-so. Now we're friends. So, that's really
do
the
you
difference.
do you remember like the one day I kind of tried to hammer in you, okay, it doesn't matter what you say, but how you say it. So how was that moment for you when you realized like this concept?
I mean, it's something that I can understand intuitively, but you don't really know it until you've tested that out. So you just like have talked to enough people to realize that they don't give a fuck about it. And it's not about what you say. So I would say it only took a few times for me to realize that it was true, but it's still like, I still see sometimes when I want to go talk to someone, I'm like, oh, what should I say? And then I'm like, no, just go up and say, like, if I don't have anything else, just go up and say hi and figure out what I'm going to say after that. But it wasn't like relieving on the one hand, to like realize that it doesn't matter what you say. I was in New York with someone and we went out and just like talked to those women. So I just turned to them and I'm like, hey, what's the celebration? And they're like, well, why do people keep on asking us that? Right. So I didn't even care that they said that. I just moved on, like, okay, well, blah, I don't know what I said after that, but the point is it doesn't matter. They were opened up. So I think that like it's freeing on the one hand, but also if you are someone who comes from pickup and it's like, you have to do X, Y, and Z, it can be kind of frightening because you've been holding on to that. But if you really want to become a natural, you have to let it go. You just realize that like social interaction is very free flowing. It's not always structured, especially if you're talking.
Jordan, let's talk about, okay, how was your social life before joining or before we met? And then we met one day, we met at this park.
Yeah.
Maybe you can also tell what you felt before, and then we start working together. I start to coach you some concepts this route. So yeah, if you can go a little bit more into that.
Sure. So before, my social life was just like, I spent a lot of time at home, a lot of time smoking weed, a lot of time watching Netflix. It really wasn't there. I was going to bars where I was meeting people who, not really people I wanted to hang out with, or at least network with. Like, I mean, I like going to bars every once in a while, but it really was not, yeah, I couldn't talk to people. And it's the same thing as when I would travel too, because I travel a lot. I would just be like, where do I go? What should I do? And I didn't know. And then working with you, I realized it's a lot easier just to talk to people. You know, for example, I was flying through DC, saw this cute girl at a bar, so I just sat down next to her, got a Coke Zero. I was like, hey, cheers. And then I just chatted with her. I'm like, it was nothing. And to go from there to what it was before, where I was just so nervous talking, was a major difference. And I think, again, you know, it's like what you said to me, that it doesn't matter what you say, it's the energy you bring. That was free because then I didn't have to analyze everything. Like, you know, for some people, that can be scary, but I do think that like if you're someone who's like technical and you're over analyzing, you have to say this exact thing because so and so said it, then you know, you just get in your head. So
Yeah.
this was a lot better for me.
Yeah. And I
And
think
then,
it's good to have basic concepts, but which is like easy to understand. It doesn't matter what you say, but how you say. It's very easy to implement because you don't need to think about a lot of lines. Okay, now I need to compliment this, and now I need to say that. Now I need to think about that. So it's
Mhm.
basically just kind of having the right mindset and going with the right energy, and then the conversation flows just naturally at some point, because that's how it's supposed to be, and not having any lines or something staged in your mind that you need to say in a certain situation. So that's the whole background behind it.
Yeah.
You said earlier also about fear, the fear of approaching. I mean, it's natural to still have it, but you can control it better. How was this like the challenge on your way to
I mean, it's still a challenge. Like, it's still something I feel today. It's something that if you don't work on it, it gets worse over time. But it's also something that once you're like, okay, I don't care anymore, it's like you have muscle memory. So it is like a muscle. So if you don't work on it, it will atrophy. At the same time, if you let it atrophy just a little bit and you work on it, you get it right back. I would say that the major thing is, you know, I think humans are programmed to think that like social rejection is like death, one of the scariest things. But when you start realizing that it doesn't matter, that what people think of you, that becomes very freeing. So I guess the real change for me isn't even just like in approaching people. It's just getting closer to the point that I don't give a fuck what someone thinks about me. Like if they don't like me, that's their problem. And when you have that confidence, people just want to be around you anyway. So, you know, I think that like instead of working on saying the perfect thing, you end up working on yourself. And that makes you more attractive, which makes it very easy to talk.
and was there a specific moment you realized I need to make this change? Because you have done several things in the past. You tried different things. I remember you told me different programs, you did this and that. But what was the moment then you realized, okay, I actually need to make this shift?
I mean, the moment was when I gave up marijuana. You know, I've been smoking marijuana for 10 years straight. Waking up in the middle of the night smoking, waking up in the morning, us going out, I was getting high. You know, like, and I had this moment where I was just like, okay, I can get my dopamine artificially, or I can go get it from real humans. And that change was like, that was the moment for me. It's just like, there's two paths in life I can take. One of them is beneficial and one of them is not. So, you know, a lot of people were surprised I gave it up, but that was, I mean, sometime it was like around September of last year. I just had this moment
Yeah,
that was like, if I want to work on my social skills, I can't be giving me something that forces me to retreat inside of myself. Um, you know, the thing is, I used to rely on it to be social, and it helps a little bit because I used to be very unsocial. But at the end of the day, it's still, even if it gets me talking to a handful of people, it doesn't get me out there. And it does intensify. Anyone listening to this has been high before, they know that when you get anxious,
yeah,
it intensifies. So if you're dealing with something like talking to people, new people, it's going to make it worse. And it's worth considering here that I used to do everything. Like I did public speaking, and I was a public speaker. I could speak in front of
Yeah,
hundreds of
exactly.
people because that was easy. That's really speaking in front of one person, like multiplied. But it was hard to speak to 10 people. And I realized that there was something just wrong about that equation. I need to be like present and be able to speak to multiple people. And the other thing is I just needed to do it for my business. I can't just be inside all day. I can't be retreating. I need to go out and network. And it's made a huge difference. I mean, just massive difference because I volunteered at a conference and met a ton of people.
Yep.
I was not high during any of that. I was able to flex my skills. I've just been traveling a lot. And so people now look at me as being like very, some people are like so masculine and confident. I'm like, fuck are you talking about? But like, that's their perception of me. They don't know, like inside my head, I don't necessarily feel that, but like, they do have this perception of confidence.
Yep. So now it's like easier also in general to go talk to people without just thinking too much about it, just doing it, and also create better social circles, getting in touch better with people.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say was one of the, let's say, main concepts or things you remind about me when we were together these couple of weeks in Lisbon?
The main concepts, I would say, like, I mean, they work together. The first is like, I mean, I know we've touched upon this, but it doesn't matter what you say and how you say it. But the second part is flow, right? Like, to get to the point where you really don't care, you have to get into a flow state. Get into flow state requires work. I mean, it's not something you can just turn on. I mean, it used to be something you think you could smoke your way into it. When it comes to social skills, it's like a lot of factors have to come together. And I guess the big thing is like that I learned from you is that I don't have to be perfect. Social interaction is imperfect. A lot of times people will say, especially in pickup, oh, if you don't see the perfect thing, it's going to blow you out, it's going to reject you. But actually, what I've come to realize, the bar is so low for how people, like most people are obsessed with their technology today. They are so starving for social interaction. If you're just nice, kind, helpful, show a degree of interest that people really like, they really appreciate it. And that's, I mean, I think that's kind of what I learned from you, all those things specific. Just the fact that I don't have to be perfect makes a huge difference.
I think that's one big point for sure, not being perfect and just taking action. I think taking action is one of the most important things because when you put yourself out there, you basically start to learn by doing it because there are so many different concepts. You can consume so much different things about the topic, but all comes down to actually doing it and trying out different things. And that's a good point you said, not being perfect. Or there's no need to be perfect because nobody is really. Nobody really cares. Like I remember one situation, we went in the park and you approached some, I think, I don't know, two girls or a group, I don't remember. And then after we just moved on and then you were thinking about, should I now approach the next people? But what will the other think, right? When they see you approaching.
I totally forgot.
And I was saying to like hammering you, okay, I mean, who cares? I mean, they already forgot probably that you existed, right?
Right. It was like, I was afraid of being seen as like a pickup guy. Like, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not saying you should go up to like people and say, hey, I'm practicing my social skills and that's why I'm talking to you. But to be honest with you, it wouldn't be the worst thing that you could do either. They might think it's funny. They might laugh at you, but I think some people would find it cute and endearing. Like, the point is that it doesn't matter. Like, they have their own lives. And I just don't see any, like, I know I was like afraid of that. But to be honest with you, I'm like, now I look at it, I think, what's the negative of being someone who goes around and talks? It actually is a positive in most people's eyes. So,
and would you say that's like the biggest mindset shift or skill you learned or trying to always remember?
Yeah, I mean, look, the biggest mindset shift was just that I needed to work on this skill. Like, it wasn't going to work on itself. So, and like I said, yeah, like removing the perfection was important. Removing the marijuana was important. Just getting out there, just practicing it. You know, I don't really have goals for myself anymore, but at the time, like after you left, I was trying to chat with 5 people a day. And I was actually very surprised by some of the ways people reacted. Because I thought like in one case, I didn't think I'd be creepy and someone kind of gave me like shock that I was talking to them. I think I was at the coffee shop that I'm at. I said, nice boots. And the girl was like, okay. You know, whatever. Like, you don't want to have nice boots. That's up to you. Like, don't have to talk to you if you don't want to talk. But in other cases, like this girl was like singing beautifully by the water. So I just pulled up. I was on a scooter. I was like, I just want to stop and say a beautiful voice. She's like, thank you. You know, got her Instagram and it was fine. Or like just pulling up on the scooter and saying, hey, nice t-shirt, nice purse. This actually makes these girls' day. Like, it's so funny. I didn't think it was going to be like that. Scooter game is a fun one.
There are some great wins or breakthroughs you are sharing. Is this like how your life then changed since applying or what you actually learned, going out there and just let it work for you? But also having in mind, okay, you need to do the approaches. You cannot just stay then 2 weeks home and doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, major shift is that like I have fewer guy friends now and a lot more girlfriends, and like that was a major difference because I really wasn't even trying to be friends with them. I was like trying to do pickups. That was one major difference. And it's important to have girlfriends because like, in addition to like getting into clubs more easily and all that, they just have insights that your guy friends don't have, like they won't be able to give you about relationships, about everything. So, that's a major shift. The other shift is like when I go to a new place, I feel a lot less anxious about going out and meeting people. And I always make a point to go out and meet people. And I also make a point to go to meet people who I used to be scared of. People who I just be like, oh, they're too pretty, doesn't want to talk to me. Going out and like actually finding a reason to pull up next to her and saying hello. And then it's not just that too, like at the gym, I saw this guy doing this interesting exercise. I was like, hey, what is that? And it turns out he was really cool. And like, he runs his own business, very similar to me, travels a lot, had a lot in common. And then he invited me to meet his friends. So it's just like, I wasn't doing any of that before. I was really just being deep inside of myself. So that's the biggest change, is just having more access to a social life. I mean, it's not perfect right now because I do travel a lot, but it's getting a lot better.
It never basically stops, especially when you are a digital nomad, when you are having this traveling, and you always meet new people, or you always, let's say, in new places, and you always need the skills just to get to know people because you don't know nobody, or maybe you know one or two people, and then that's it. So I think it's really important to go out there and be aware. And if you have the practice, if you already know, okay, I just can do it, so it will feel a lot easier. And I remember telling at the beginning, okay, try to do 5 approaches per day, or a certain amount of approaches you can just do, even if you just say hi. So you create the momentum, you keep going. I would say you get these easy, quick wins in order to motivate you to keep going. How do you think that worked for you?
I mean, the biggest change that I've noticed is sometimes I'm like blink and then I'm talking to someone. So instead of just like thinking about, I'm just like, they're standing there and I just start talking to them. And I just am like, oh shit. I'm just like, even, like I was even shy to like ask basic stuff. Hey, can you grab that? Can you move over here? Like, you're in my way. Excuse me. Like, I was just too shy to even ask that stuff. And now I'm like often very surprised by what I do. And I think that happened because I started practicing a lot, like trying to talk to people every day. And because I did that, it became a little bit more second nature.
That's definitely very, very good experience. And what would you say to someone who is on the fence, walking with me, or trying to get to know me a little bit better after we had this journey together?
Well, I would say that working with you is easy, not like you're easy, but just like it's not like, you're not like a mean coach. And you like, I think that like, if you're on the fence, like, let me rephrase. Let me think about this real quick. If you're on the fence working with Julian, the thing is like, Julian's done it. All right. So it's not like you're talking to someone who's now married and is like, has their like used to run pickup and now is older, and is like Julian is out there being a digital nomad and he doesn't go to sleep. Like he'll go out every single night just to get the reps. So like, it's not like he used to be something and now he's teaching it. Rather, he's doing it right now. And you can actually, if they probably meet you in person, you can probably do it with you. But if nothing else, like you can send your thoughts to Julian and he'll come back to you. And I know that like I'll send stuff over WhatsApp. What should I do in this case?
Yeah.
It's be very thoughtful replies that actually are meaningful to me. And it's not just like make a plan and execute. It's also like more thoughtful than that. Like going through, this is what I usually do. And this is like what often happens. Here's something to think about. So I think it makes it very easy to work with you, and you're very accessible as a coach. You're not like hiding behind multiple layers. I don't always have to go on a call with you. Like I can just do it over WhatsApp. So I think it's very helpful. And I think that distinguishes you from other coaches that I've done where I have to like go on Calendly, set time limit for how much I can talk to them. Also just the advice is often generic,
So it was like really worth for you, and also the accountability motivating you in order to take action and actually do it. How did this help you?
I mean, I feel like I'm just like that anyway. So you don't have to try that hard to do that. You just have to make me feel like I'm fine.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like when we were out, you were like, you did say at one point, you're letting your negative like beliefs like get in the way. And I was like, give me some time. come back in a month, I'll be even better. You're like, be better right now. So like, I mean,
Yeah.
that was good coaching. But like, the thing is that for me, it's like, if you just set me on a path and I plant a seed in my mind, I'm going to go. So, I was all very helpful, I would say, because it motivated me to go for it. But at the same time, like, I'm also the kind of person who's going to do that. So the thing is though, like for someone listening to this, and I'll just be blunt about this. Like, if you're not someone who does that, you're going to have to learn to become someone who does that, because you're not going to be able to attract people if you want to be more outgoing unless you're willing to put the work in. So it's just like, Julian can tell you certain things to help you, but at the end of the day, you have to do the work. You have to be motivated. And you have to want something different in your life.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be your major advice to someone that actually is thinking about, okay, should I go into coaching? Should I go not? Do I need somebody? Is that like your major advice to say to actually, okay, you need to realize that you actually want to do it. And then when you do it, you really stick to it and commit to take action.
Yes. And like, it's like working out. Okay. Like the first few weeks are harder than once you're in once you get over that static friction, you're in it. And once you start seeing successes, it becomes so much easier. It becomes very enjoyable, a lot less like exhausting. So yeah, it becomes sort of energy giving, I would say. But like, if someone's on the fence, you have two choices, right? You can do the things that you've always done that don't work, right? Or you can like hang out with people like us who like have businesses or digital nomads who face these challenges all the time and have decided that just like in our business and like our life, that we don't want to just take the regular way people do things. We want to do it differently. We want to be. So if that's what you want to do, like that's where you want to go, then this is like working with you makes a lot of sense.
And just to summarize a little bit, before we met, you didn't really know where to start. You didn't really know how to be more social, how to go out, how it actually works. And now you actually just don't think about it and you just do it. I think this would be like the major point to have it here. And what are then your further goals in the next couple of weeks, a couple of months? Because I know you created a social circle around during this time. In Lisbon, you have also a lot of events you think you are going to do, or social gatherings or social plans. After learning the basis and thinking, okay, now I'm going the next step. I want to create a more social circle with more people, get to know more people, and actually bring them together so that you have full control of people that you want to meet, you want to network with. What are your plans currently, and how did you get to that, and what's next?
Sure. So there's really two different tacks I'm taking. So the first one is I'm doing a major event where I'm bringing in my influencer friends all around the world to come in and hang out with me in Lisbon, in an event that I'm doing myself, and where I have shown like to them that like I can get accommodations for free, that sponsorship, and I get to hang out with them. And they have vast networks. So even though my network isn't as big as theirs, because I've built friends, I've like become friends with them over the years through different events, things like that. I'm able to leverage that. And so that's like one of the things I'm doing. So after all these years of like thinking, oh, I'm alone and all this and that, like the truth is my friends live all around the world. So I'm creating something with it and be digital nomads together in one space. And so in doing that, I think that's only just going to increase my network, my social life. And because these people are all around the world, but also in places that I travel to, now I'm going to also have major friends in those areas. Okay, so that's the first one. That gets me kind of my global audience. And the second one is to start doing local. So I'm inspired by the event that you put on, the yoga and coffee one. There's also the ability, they're also maybe doing a photo shoot that's a little harder here, but I like the yoga and coffee one. The point is, when you have an event, then you actually do have a reason to talk to. It's not asking them out of it. Or in just cool people. You just say, hey, blah, 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 and say, I am doing this event. I don't know if you're into that, but, I think it'd be fun to have you. And my other friends are going to show up. So, just let me know if you're interested. Take your Instagram and add them to the list. And then, put the event up.
Yeah. And it's very easy to set. I mean, and you are showing leadership qualities. You are the organizer. You actually have to control who you want to meet, who you want to network with.
Right.
I think that's very powerful. And then you can actually show your qualities, and then people actually see you in a different light. They see you on a higher status, if this makes sense. And I think that can be very powerful. And that's actually then the next steps. If you learn to be social, if you kind of make your contacts, then it's just the next natural step. It's just to invite people to something cool, to make activities together. So you will be actually then the guy doing it, instead of being the guy just going somewhere and hoping something will happen. So you are taking full control and are in this stage to say, okay, now I'm ready to actually create my social life for myself. And not depending too much on others.
Yes. And I have one last anecdote that actually
Yeah.
demonstrates the difference. Okay. So before I met you, okay, and before I even started like really working on myself, I was on Hinge, right? I met this girl. She was like, we're doing kind of like a like speed dating thing at this like thing, and you can come. And I didn't want to go to a speed dating thing. I wanted just to hang out with her. Okay, but I went anyway, and like just because of the way I came, I think just like she's running the like bar, and I'm just like there, hey, how you doing? Like I didn't have any stats, so I think that she was immediately not into me. And even though I did talk to some other girls there, that was fun. It was just not like I look at that, and I think, why would I ever go to speed? Like speed dating is very, it's not, it doesn't highlight your best qualities. I mean, it highlights desperation for interaction is really what it does. And so the thing is, I'm no longer going to other people's events. Like there's another time I went with a girl, like we were kind of talking, and I told her like, I'm not so sure if I want to hook up. I just want to be friends. And then she's like, well, come on, this event I'm doing, this hike. And then this other guy came and just talked to her the whole time. And then they went off and hooked up.
Okay.
Like, like, and I'm just looking at this thinking, what am I doing going to other people's events like that? So running your own thing means that you have control over who you want to bring. It means you get to set the tone and the vibe. You don't have to deal with annoying people. Or if you do, you only deal with them once, like they don't come back. So, being someone who like controls his life instead of letting the life live me, that's like a major difference in my mindset and major change that happened after working with Julie.
That's definitely very, very valuable. And I think everybody who will watch this, I think the most takeaway here is to take action if they want similar results.
Yeah.
I think that's all what it comes down to. And if you have somebody that kind of can guide you along the way, I think that can be very helpful. Even just simple things like being in a community where people support each other, or then having somebody really who focuses on you for a more personalized approach, or then just going out to and actually then do it, what then people teach you or what people exchange in communities. I think that's really valuable for somebody that will watch this.
Definitely.
Okay, great. Then yeah, thank you very much for the great insights, like
Sure.
always. So I know when we finished, you will go out and make 10 approaches.
Yep, exactly.
And
I'm doing 10 today.
then grow a new social circle. So I can see it. I can see it. So thank you, Jordan.